Hello and welcome to the In the Wrong Bed podcast. I am your host, Justin Weigler. As always, with me is my co-host, Jonathan Sokol. And this week we're going to be talking about we're in week 16 of the Premier League. So it actually makes for some interesting qualitative betting, I think, this week. You've got three people that are in it. You've got the major match of Aspinall and MVG to see basically who goes through to the playoffs. And the kind of other a couple superfluous matches that don't really matter. So be interested to see kind of what your take is on some of these things, Jonathan, because first last is 1 versus 8. So if you don't know, they go by what your seeding is in the last week of the Premier League. So it's 1v8, 2v7, 3v6, and 4v5.
And that explains one of the questions that I had. I was like, there's no way that they lucked into having Aspinall and MVG playing each other.
They lucked into them last week. They did not luck into it this week.
Yeah, because they just played last week, and I was like, how I didn't go back and review the set schedule to see if it was already posted, but that makes sense. If week 16 is seeded, then that's a smart movement.
Yeah, if you were looking at the look-ahead lines, they didn't have any look-ahead line for that week until week 15 was done, and that's the reason is because they basically want to make at least some matches meaningful, right?
Yeah.
You can clearly see that Littler versus Bunting is going to be meaningless, but what I find might be more interesting, and especially since Littler's at the top of the table now and he can't move from that, I'm kind of interested in, is it worth taking Bunting this week when it's meaningless and maybe Littler is, throwing left-handed or something like that, like just to see, because he's probably in DGAF mode right now.
Yeah, he's not above maybe messing around a bit, that's for sure. Or at the very least, I guarantee he's thinking like, oh, I'm gonna take out 120 with with the bull 20 bull or something. I don't know what he decided. He's definitely going to be
bull double 10.
Yeah,
he would do bull double 10.
That actually sounds better. Yeah. So I would not be surprised to see him do that. That brings me to one of my bets I'm going to do for sure this week is a Littler under 102.5 average. I just think, all you need. We didn't do a podcast last week, but we had a bet on MVG under 97.5 that he came in at 97.52. And, all it would have taken is one miss on a checkout or even maybe 20 going to a 1 or definitely.
No, just a treble 20 going into a single 20 would have probably done it.
I know. And so stuff like that, if you think you have a better chance that he's going to be messing around, I just think, it could.
Yeah, at 102.5, that's
they bumped him up.
Him and Humphreys put on a show last week. That was absolutely insane. And I think that was kind of they bring each other's game up, it seems a little bit. But I don't think that, he might just want to go back home and play video games after this match. You might want to get there, get done, and get out.
Yeah. That's true.
He just might not care.
Is he playing the Euro Tour this weekend?
I don't think he is.
Yeah, he's skipped quite a few of those. I think he skips for travel purposes.
Yeah, it's tough when he doesn't quite care about money yet because I think he's got a lot. Yeah. And he's winning. When you keep winning majors, does the idea of doing a bunch of travel to go on the Euro Tour to play your way into something matter to him? I don't know if it does really. The only thing he'd probably miss out on is the European Championship.
I'm sure he'll still qualify and he doesn't have to worry.
If you don't play any, I don't know if you do. I honestly, it's a thing I should look up is what the qualifications are for a European Championship. But I really don't think he cares that much about, if it's not like a major. I'm not sure he really cares at this point. And honestly, saving for travel purposes, I think probably does, a lot of people complain about the wear and tear of traveling on darts, and it's tough, especially if you're not in the top 64 and you're trying to qualify for a Euro Tour. Even like you've got to go and hope to God you get through just so you can get like a 1,250-pound payday. It's kind of grueling, and he wouldn't be put in that position. He'd start on Saturday morning instead of Friday, but he would need to, still, turn up, you lose, you don't make that much money.
Yeah.
Like, and I wonder if he's just like, all his time and energy to maybe not make any money. Is it really worth it when you didn't have to play these?
So none of these darts players have private planes, I take it. It's not.
They're not the type.
No.
I'd be
the
curious.
Money's not enough to get.
I'd be curious if
golfers
it'd be worth it.
Can get to that level, but they're winning multi-million per tournament.
Exactly.
And only the best of the best have private planes.
But you even look at like on the PGA Tour, what they're making, the top 20, in top 16. What's the top 16 probably average out on the PGA Tour at? I mean, they're well into seven figures.
Oh yeah, no, for
easily,
sure. I mean,
like
top 125, which is the qualifier to get your card next year. Actually, they might have changed that rule to top 100 or something, but that used to be just a little over $1 million.
Yeah, you think about that, and that would cover all but like 5 darts players, probably.
Yeah, I know.
So I would say that, the money's not comparable. Like, even if you got every like top 32 player to chip in for like a private jet or something to go back there and back, I don't think it's worth it for that.
You can take a bus together, something like that, maybe. But
well, it's funny, actually. I know we're off topic here, but if you look at the PDPA website, they have like travel person help you set up like rooms and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and deals in hotels nearby. Because when you're on these places like Hildesheim and whatever, you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, Germany. Like you're not exactly going to Berlin every week in the Euro Tour. Like, so it's I mean, the hotels are, but you hear all the time people have roommates on the road.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're making so much that they're gonna take a private jet when they're sharing a Motel 8.
I know. No, that's true. I wonder if they'll ever get there. We need to dive into some of an earnings analysis for darts players one of these episodes, and really kind of see what it takes, what number in the world do you have to be to really earn a decent living, all these things.
Usually it's like you gotta be, I think, in probably the top 32. I mean, that seems to be the top 64 maybe, but even the top 64, it's dicey. I mean, that's why you see so many people like Alan Suter, even Cameron Menzies told recently, all had full-time jobs.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Which, that's a tough road to go. So, you talk about people that, qualify in Q school. That's like you're in for it. Like, you've got to dedicate those 2 years to try to make it. Otherwise, you might not. There's a lot of people that just drop out of darts just because, they're not able to make ends meet with it. Even though there's a lot more money now in exhibitions and things like that they get on the side. It's still, a lot of effort on their end.
Tough to make a living. Like, you think about the best American darts players right now, they're probably not exactly crushing it in terms of how much.
No, I mean, there might be a handful.
I know the tournaments around here, you really don't make a lot. Like, people are battling for like $300-$400 for first place. Like,
exactly. And then they probably spend all that money on the alcohol that they had and just to get to that point. So I mean, that's true. I mean, I know Alex Spellman's like trying to make a living out of it right now. Touring, doing all the quote unquote big money places around the US, but also like he teaches on the side. And he's also doing other things. Like, it's especially tough in North America to try to do it, but it's not even easy when you've got a tour card.
For sure.
But how we got off topic on that, I don't know. But
I don't know.
back to the Premier League and Stephen Bunting. You know what? This might be the week, kind of like
Really
just
look
take
at him.
upsets.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
because Littler, I don't think really cares that much. Like,
I don't think so either. I think he's probably just looking at it as, oh, I'm going to have a good time. He's probably going to be loose, which might mean he just goes out and like crushes it. But also,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at that. But
yeah,
I like that. But I think your bet of 100, 102.5 is actually a good one.
yeah.
I think that's a good one to take because I just think Bunting's not going to push him probably.
Yeah.
Like Humphreys did last week.
And the odds are pretty split on the plus minus 2.5. So it feels like Bunting gives him a little bit of a run here. So, but I hate doing the 2.5 against Littler because he almost
always wins the bull. So it's only one break.
Yeah.
So you're not surprised if 6-3 happens, and then you're like, "Why did I do this?"
Yeah,
I agree.
That's why you're better off just maybe going for a money line.
The money line and have at it. I think that's probably. I actually will probably sprinkle a little on the money line because I just think he probably doesn't. I don't think Littler is just in a carrying mood this time. Next 0-2 in London is his big week, so
yeah,
that's what he's preparing for.
All right.
The next match is the big one. Really, is Asp versus MVG. With Asp winning last week outright, really, I think the only way MVG gets in is if he wins the lot tonight.
Well, yeah. So MVG is right now at. Oh shoot! I thought I had him at. He's at 20 points. Yeah, and Asp is at 24. So he has to get 5 basically here.
Yeah. Which is interesting. He might be might be the only one that really cares this week.
So what do you think? It feels to me like Asp, like you go back to last week and they both needed that like desperately. Asp was able to step up his game. I just feel like he focuses so much better when he really needs it, or it just feels like he's honestly very MVG like, because or oldish MVG where he just really grinds out victories. He never throws out huge averages, but somehow finds a way to just win these matches when he needs it.
Yeah, and I think that he's gonna. I kind of like him. He's even money.
I know.
I kind of like him to win again. He needs to win. He knows if he wins this game, it's over.
Yeah, and so why not take care of business yourself rather than just hoping
there's a run it, because now you got to sit back there and sweat out 2 more matches,
yeah,
which he knows no one else has anything to really play for.
I know. I really think he does win this too, and I'm kind of shocked that MVG is the favorite given the way MVG has played. It was a close match last week, but I almost felt like Asp dominated a little more than it. Was it a close match?
I think it was 6-3. I think it was 6-3.
Yeah. All right. Maybe it wasn't as close. I think that their averages were close, but yeah, you're right. 6-3, but they both were on the 97 average mark.
Yeah, I think I like Aspinall again in this one. I just think he's. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Van Gerwen won. It's one of these weird bets where
now I think
he would like. I would almost say that I would like him to, like, either Aspinall wins this or Van Gerwen wins the night, and just strikes another. Just it would be just devastating for Asp to lose that way.
Oh, man.
Again, because he's been 5th like the last 3 Premier Leagues he's played in. Like, I really think he wants to get to the playoff. I do think he's focused. I do kind of like Asp to win this one.
Yeah, me too. I'm in on that. So, well, I was gonna something also when I was looking at the table. I was kind of surprised that they already had Gerwin qualified, because he's at 24 points too. But
that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you know what the tiebreaker order is actually? Because it's
how many nights you won?
Yeah, I know that's the first tiebreaker. That was kind of shocking because it almost looked like there's a way for Gerwin. At first glance, I was like, well, Gerwin's won less matches than Asp, so I think that's the second tiebreaker. And if MVG runs the table and Gerwin loses, he would have won more matches than Gerwin. And then also the leg differentials, Gerwin could have fallen out because he's only like +2 over Asp. But it's all
No,
about
it's
the Knights one.
yeah, it's all
It's
about
the first
Knights one.
tiebreaker.
And so, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's why Gerwin's already qualified. So either, even if MVG gets in and he loses, he still has the tiebreaker over Nathan. So, yeah. So that's why.
Exactly. So, and that's all. That would have been that could have been one more way if imagine Asp and MVG aren't playing each other, but they're on opposite sides of the bracket. Then you could have them both getting to the final, and then that match means everything essentially, even for Gerwin. Like Gerwin could
Yeah.
get booted. Well, no, he can't.
Not necessarily because he could beat Dobie.
Yeah. Well, that's true. If he had lost, as long as Gerwin won one, he would be in. But you could have made it to where he had to do something.
Yeah, I think they just predetermined this beforehand. They can't just try, like it's 1-8-2-6. I don't think they can. It makes it too complicated to put him on one side of the bracket and think, oh, maybe you can.
But I mean, Gerwin could drop to 4 and play Littler, but I mean, he's at 3. He's playing Humphreys. Doesn't really probably make a ton of difference. Who would you rather play at this point? I mean, Humphreys almost seems like he's playing better, but who knows?
Yeah. Be interesting. Who would you take to win the night though?
This week?
Yeah, like.
I mean, the Gerwin value, just based off of numbers.
I mean, it's always there. I mean, he's at 700.
Yeah, it is. I know, and it's up a little higher than normal on his odds, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what do I take out right now?
Having a look. I mean, your MVG bet is not terrible because you think if he does beat Asp, he's got
everything to play for.
Yeah, exactly, and no one else is really.
I mean, that's not. Yeah, I kind of like that bet in a weird way. At plus 800.
That's what I actually have as the second best value.
I mean,
even though it's negative, the only positive value I had after simulating it was the Gerwin.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going on the feels, I know this is weird. Also, this could very well, like, it's almost like you want to, like, if you could do if bets, like if Stephen Bunting and Nathan Aspinall won, I like Bunting to win the week at plus 1,600.
Yes, and this, I think this is a decent strategy.
Because Aspinall just relax at that point, and
just pick one, 2 of the long shots because it's a week that doesn't matter, and everyone's kind of like loose. They might just feel good about someone at the bottom of the table taking it. Really.
Yeah, I mean, I could absolutely see Gerwin running it for him, maybe carrying.
I like your Bunting. I like the Bunting 1,600. I'd even think Adobe. He got to the final last week, playing pretty well right now.
Yeah,
12
he's playing well.
I don't mind taking some Adobe there too.
Is Gerwin locked into third, or can he get second if he wins out?
No, so Humphreys has 31, Gerwin has 24. So
all right, so it doesn't matter if Gerwin wins at all.
He's not locked into third because he can drop to 4, but he's can't get.
Oh, I guess you're right. He could drop to 4. That's interesting.
He'll be 3 or 4, and then we have Asp or Van Gerwen.
I almost kind of want to wait to see what happens with the Asp Van Gerwen match
before betting. Who's going to win it all? Yeah.
No. I kind of like Bunting at 1,600. I think Asp is going to win. I think Bunting's going to win. And I think Bunting's going to beat Asp because Asp is just going to relax.
Yeah, I'm talked into putting a little bit on Dobie and Bunting here, actually.
That could very well happen. I mean, especially if
Although Asp, yeah, Asp could just take it all the way. Like he might, he maybe he wants to get to 3 and not play.
I mean,
Littler.
if I'm asked, I do.
Yeah. So
Because
and it's like,
but I'd almost because he doesn't want to play Littler. He
yeah,
gets smashed by Littler every week. Like he doesn't want to
Gerwin,
run it. He doesn't want to run into him.
yeah, Gerwin might not care because he seems to.
No, actually, I don't think Gerwin cares about ending up third or fourth. To be honest, like I think he'd probably rather end up third theoretically, but he plays Littler well enough that everyone but the Lukes is probably going to have to go through 2 Lukes to win.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, everybody, I mean, Gerwin. I don't see Asp even if he gets through. Like, certainly not beating Littler.
Yeah, no.
Like, I just don't see it happening. That feels like a happy to be here type of
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm landing on last week. Weird stuff's gonna happen.
I am too.
Let's look at that. Yeah,
that's a very qualitative feels approach to it, but I do think it's like, don't be surprised if Bunting just wins this. Asp wins the second and then or beats MVG and then just goes to sleep in the second round.
Yeah. Let's hit on that third match because I have a pretty strong feeling on that one.
On Humphreys Cross?
Yeah.
Why? You have a strong Cross feeling?
No, I just think Cross is like, it's kind of just dead man walking lately. I just
he has been.
And Humphreys is, I think Humphreys is peaking right about
he's
now.
playing really well. And
so to me, that one, I just don't see Cross winning this at all, which I'm sure means that Cross will win. But
yeah, minus 220 for Humphreys, like
that's and the line is not that terrible even. Like,
no, it's not.
And you can even think about the 1.5. I mean, the minus 1.5.
I do like the minus 1.5.
You're not paying that much juice for it. Minus 130.
No, you're not. That's actually kind of low for minus 220 favorite. Usually expect around 140.
Yeah, well, I have the minus 205. Well, at least when I last looked at it, could have moved already.
But you
could see money going on Humphreys.
No, it's minus 125 on the terrible spread odds of juice that FanDuel has, but minus 125 on each side. Jesus.
Yeah. So this one.
But yeah, I kind of like Humphreys on that.
Me too.
Which means Rob Cross will win 6-2.
I just think he wants to keep the good play going. I don't know. It just feels.
You're right. Rob Cross is kind of dead man walking.
I just haven't seen anything from him lately.
Yeah, he hasn't played that great. Honestly, just in general, I don't think he's played fantastic.
No.
He just hasn't, he'd win a match here and there in the Premier League, but he hasn't, I don't think he's won a second round match.
Yeah. The weird thing, it feels like with Cross is that in order to actually compete against some of these guys, he needs to have those legs where he's not just pulling like an 18 darter. Like you can pretty much count on him to hit 18, 21, everyone 21 darters, but he needs to start getting those short legs to really compete.
Yeah, he needs some 12 darters against the throw.
He just hits 100, doesn't hit one. I mean, there was a while where he seemed like he was hitting his 180s a lot more. Lately, he's back to being Mr. 140.
One trouble visit, yeah.
Yeah, or 100 every time. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he needs to be. For a while, he was consistently doing 2 trouble visits, consistently, and it hasn't been there the last week or two. So
no.
I kind of agree. I like Humphreys in this one as well.
Okay.
Then the final match is Gerwin versus Doby. Gerwin at minus 148, Derby 122. Like that feels like, I mean, Doby's playing well recently. Like I
I
wouldn't
know.
be shocked if Doby won this match.
Me too. I'm leaning Doby with the plus odds. Gerwin, uh, I think Gerwin, he's been maintaining a pretty high level, but I also feel like he's tailing off just a hair.
Yeah,
Maybe coming off of a peak.
yeah, I kind of agree. Like it's an odd match. If
I don't know that he cares. Yeah,
if
one way or the
MVG
other.
wins the match over Asp, he has nothing to play for. I don't think.
No, and then if he wins one match, he stays at 3.
Yeah,
He
I
can't
don't
be
even think he
passed.
cares.
No, but I
I'm
don't
not
think
sure
so
he
either.
really cares.
Yeah, I really don't either. I think he'll come out there loose, just having a good time. I don't know that. I definitely don't really want to be betting on him.
It's weird. There's some dart players
Betting on his average over or under. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be touching that. I do feel like some people play really like they play better when they're loose, and some play better when they're focused and amped up. I feel like that was the first thing out of my mind was plays better focused and amped up.
Yes.
And I'm not sure Gerwin does. I don't think he plays well loose. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that's
I don't think so either. Yeah, I think he's kind of similar. It's funny because I feel this way about golf with my friends and myself. Like I have one friend who really needs like something to focus on or like a bet to get him going. Otherwise he just is out there slapping it around. But whenever he has a bet riding on it, he's like zeroed in and focused. I'm the opposite. I need to convince myself nothing's on it. Yeah, and to be relaxed to actually play well. But
yeah, that's what actually, I feel like that is Bunting. I think he plays way better when he's loose.
Yeah.
He starts like he lost the first 8 matches, and you could see through each match he was trying so hard.
Yeah, to finally get a win.
Half of the Premier League.
And then finally, when it doesn't matter, he's playing a little better. You're right. I think Bunting he's getting to this level where he's trying to like crack into the top echelon, and he's putting so much pressure on himself, and then he just falls back down, and then maybe he'll climb back up again.
I think he's trying too hard to prove that he needs to be there.
Yeah.
But he did earn it. But he hasn't played great. He hasn't actually played terrible. He's run into some buzzsaws.
Yeah.
But then by the time you're 0-8, or 0-5, 0-6, now you've just put the self pressure on you to win. And he was just putting way too much pressure on himself.
I know. I actually feel like Cross is like more deserving of the bottom of the table here almost.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he was winning every other match, but couldn't do anything more than that. Yeah. And then when Bunty finally won, he won the entire night. Like you could just see the weight off his shoulders.
Now that the table's kind of shaped up, do you remember what bets you put at the beginning of the year on?
I had
finish up.
I had Gerwin, I think, winning it all at like, I think plus 1,000.
Oh.
And so now that he's in, like, I'll let the bet ride. I didn't put a ton on it. The other thing I think I had maybe a small bet on Cross because I think he was completely. I thought he was overlooked, but I clearly was wrong. There's a reason why everyone was overlooking him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's shaped up who you kind of thought other than MVG.
Yeah, I know I had a Gerwin to win it all. That can't happen, clearly. Well, I know, sorry. That was to win it all Premier League, so that can't still happen.
Yeah, that could still happen. Yeah, I mean, I who I liked before, I liked the Lukes, and I liked and I mean, it's kind of shaping up almost exactly how I really thought it would happen. I liked the Lukes to do. I couldn't pass on Cross's value. Can't remember what it was at the time, but it was pretty high. I liked the Lukes to get in, and I liked Asp and Gerwin. to get in. Those were, if I had to bet the 4, like I actually didn't think, I thought this might be MVG's year not to make it.
Yeah. I remember taking a Littler to finish top of the table somehow after the first couple of weeks, and it was still pretty low odds, or
Yeah.
pretty good odds. I feel like it was almost even at that point. That was probably the one Premier League future that I won, unless Gerwin can win it all.
I still think Aaron could win it all.
Could.
He absolutely could. I think he's no fear of Littler, and he has a good record against him. I don't think that matters that much. The only thing that does matter really now, though, is
Long
one
form.
and 2 do get first throw guaranteed. So I mean, you thought Littler's going to win the bull anyways, but he's guaranteed throw first in a tiebreak leg. So
that could be rough.
And that either him versus Gerwin, or him versus Gerwin, or him versus Humphreys, I think that will matter. That could very well matter.
Yeah, I can see that. So, yeah, winning it all this week. I think
I like Bunting at plus 1,600. Yeah. I do. I just feel like he's kind of carefree. I'm not sure Littler how much he cares.
Maybe whoever comes out of that. Well, Van Gerwen will still be motivated.
He'll be motivated, but I think he was going to lose to Asp again.
Yeah,
I think Asp will be focused, and I think he'll lose.
And then Asp will exactly. Then when we thought about Asp, this is what we need to keep in mind. Second round, go against Asp. His focus is gone.
Yeah.
Bunting. Well, I mean, hopefully Bunting wins because then we'll at least get a decent price on it. But I guess we could go a huge spread of Littler over Asp, but I don't know that I trust that with neither of them caring.
Yeah. I like, plus 1,600 is a lot of value, I think, for Bunting. On a potentially DGAF Littler.
Mm-hmm.
And I like your other bet of under 102.5 for I think that's a solid bet.
Yeah, there's a few other averages I kind of liked in there. Like last week we were hitting both Asp and MVG unders. They both barely kind of went over. I think I'm going to be going for that again this week.
If they're at the same level, I would say.
And under 97.5 for MVG. Humphreys, the weirdest thing is the Humphreys line has been dropping from, it was like 99.5 all season. And starting last week, saw 98.5, and then this week is 98.5. I'm kind of shocked what's going on. Like, obviously, he blew it out of the water last week with the Littler match. And not only did it drop, but it also was against Littler. The only thing that I could come up with is that the bookmakers were thinking is that if you look back at Littler, Humphreys matches, it feels like they both start going off a lot and do really well when they play each other. But the history, at least the data that I was looking at, their averages are lower than typical when they play each other.
Yeah. I mean, Humphreys is 98.5 right now. That feels like that should be over.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Rob Cross drags him down just by.
Giving him time to set up and whatever. I mean, that's also possible.
I don't know. I like the over on that. I'll be on that. And then the Dobie lines, I've been pretty consistent over on Dobie.
The under. I'm seeing that. I don't know what you have the Littler on DraftKings. Littler's under 2.5 is getting smashed at minus 155 on the under.
Oh yeah, that's wow. I didn't have that hard of a line on that. I didn't think so.
Yeah, I would recommend getting on that then.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Bunting over 96.5. I kind of like Bunting over 96.5.
Same. It's the Littler effect as well.
It is.
He's going to drag him up a little bit, most likely.
Yeah. All right. I think I'll be talking to those two. One over and one under.
Yeah. So you're right. I had minus 145 on the Littler under, which
I still
honestly
think I'd take that.
I think it is still a bet. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that probably is still a bet.
I remember last season, anytime they touched 100 with the Lions, I was going under. This year, it got insane with Littler.
Yeah, you got
104 and a half in the middle of this season was what they were setting as
I know, which is
average line.
crazy.
And he was blowing past it.
That
I'm
was
not
even
sure
crazier.
yeah.
It's like no one should be. The median shouldn't be 104 and a half. You really think half his matches are going to go over? And then they did, and you're like,
I know.
yeesh.
If you were an under better on Littler, I think you're probably looking at getting back to close to positive, especially if he goes under this week. But last week he went over again, but there was probably a 3-week run before last week.
Yeah, he was definitely going under.
Unders. Yeah.
Yeah. He was definitely under on each of those. So any final thoughts for who do you think is going to win it all?
I think Humphreys. Yeah, I was saying before,
Really?
I just think he's peaking at the right time. Let's see what he's at right now, but that's my pick for who's going to win it all.
That's interesting.
Plus 250. Wow, I like that a lot.
Yeah. Man, it's tough to go against Littler. It really is. I think I hate going chalk like that, but it does feel like he just ups his game.
Yeah, minus 120 for Littler to win it all.
I think that depends. You know what? I wouldn't bet that though until I knew who he played the first round. If he plays Gerwin Price in the first round, I am not betting that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If he plays Nathan Aspinall in the first round, I'm betting that.
Yeah.
I mean, the likelihood is he plays Asp, and then I think
he's winning that.
He's not losing that game to Nathan.
And you have minus 120 against Humphreys, maybe.
Then again, Humphreys probably, and
the price is going to be worse than that. I think when they
play
each other,
that's actually a really good question. If him versus Humphreys in the final, with him getting darts, what do you think the line's at? 180?
Yeah, it's definitely not minus 200. It's between 150 and 200.
I don't think it's 150. It's got to be more than that.
Yeah.
When you know he's going first.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it's going to be around 180 to 200. I would have to guess 180.
Yeah.
And then the question is, do you like a 180 to beat Humphreys? I mean, I do. Minus 2. But you know what? You're right. Humphreys is playing really well. But, he is darts last leg. Yeah, I'm not betting against him to not throw out a 12 darter and just shut him out.
Yeah.
Or even 15 and make Humphreys throw a 20. I mean, what's Humphreys' 12 dart percentage even when it's really high? It's 12% on 1 and 8 shot.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I just like if that goes to final leg, I'm not betting against Littler with the darts in a final leg of anything.
I know.
Like that price would have to be plus 400 for me to bet against him.
Yeah, so, we'll see. Maybe we'll get the Luke final. And I like your strategy though. If we do see Asp playing Littler first, there might be a play to actually just take both Humphreys and Littler there and see, like, just you basically bet each one to win, and then
you're better off just betting each one to win. You might as well just parlay
money line in the first round.
Parlay the money lines, and I mean you're probably better off doing that.
Yeah, I would.
Which maybe we look at doing.
I know.
It depends. Like if I think I kind of agree with you. I think Humphreys would be Gerwin Price, and I definitely think Littler would be Aspinall. But if Littler had to play Gerwin, I don't like that so much.
Yeah, I agree.
But any final thoughts other than that?
No, I think that's it.
Well, it'll definitely be interesting to see. Week 16 is gonna be a weird week. I liken it to week 18 in the NFL. Like there's gonna be weird stuff going on. You're not quite sure motivations, everything. So it'll be interesting to find out what ends up happening this week.
All right. Yeah, I'm excited.
All right. Awesome. Well, that will be it for this week's podcast. So for Jonathan Sokol, I am Justin Wyva. We will see you guys, see everyone later. Thanks, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Bye.